Hey guys, Bob from Gil Skillz here. Last week, I talked about some compressors and taking them apart and the value in taking them apart and extracting the copper out of them. This week, we're going to actually do it. So here are my compressors. I've even got another one here, right here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these compressors here and I'm going to lay them on their side. And I'm going to drill a hole right in the bottom. These are maybe half full of oil because they shake around and whatnot. The oil gets all around and everything. Nonetheless, they're not completely full. So I'm going to drill a hole in the bottom there. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it on top of here and let it drain into this jar right here. And I'm going to do that with all of the compressors. And then once that's done, once we've got them all drained out, we can proceed to phase 2, which is taking the angle grinder, cutting the tops off these bad boys, and extracting the actual transformer out of the compressor itself. So let's go ahead and continue. All right, let's see if I can get this started here. There we go. So there's a hole in there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on top of here and I'm going to let the oil drain. Let me see if I can get you a decent view here. There we go. I thought I was going to have to drill 2 holes. But fortunately, I only needed to drill 1. You see what I mean? There's really not that much oil in there. So as soon as that's done draining, I'll give that a good few minutes and then I'll start on the next one. And the process is going to be the same for all the compressors. We'll go ahead and I won't show you every single one, but that's going to be the process for getting the oil out of the compressors themselves. Let me go ahead and get the rest of these done there so that when they are completely drained, we can move on to phase 2, as I said before, and that's cutting the tops off so that we can see that precious copper inside. Last one. Out of all 5 of those compressors, that one little jar, that's how much oil was in them. But it's important to get the oil out, guys, because you don't want to take the copper out of these with the angle grinder and end up having smoke and fumes to inhale. Not to mention the environmental issues that it'll cause if you just take the copper transformer out without extracting the oil. If you bring this to the scrapyard, the oil gets in the ground. Oh yeah, whole bunch of problems there. So better off just simply extracting the oil and recycling it. In my case, I give it back to the city, so it doesn't cost me anything to get rid of it. All right, I went ahead and had to go to Harbor Freight to pick up some more discs for the angle grinder here so that I can cut up all of these wonderful compressors that have copper inside of them. So we drained all the oil out of all of these puppies, and that's how much oil was in it in total, all 5 of them. Little bug ended up falling to his death in there. Poor little fella. So anywho, we're going to get back to this. I'm going to go ahead and put a fresh blade on, and then we're going to form a plan of attack on cutting the tops off of each one of these so that we could remove the transformer. That's right. Stay tuned. Before I get too crazy on this, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take a file and I'm going to see if each one of these pieces here are copper. And if they are, I'm going to go ahead and remove them. If they're not, I will still probably remove them because we got copper on both ends. We get a little bit of copper here. We get some copper over here. We get some copper on top. All those little bits are going to come off. But sometimes these are steel, sometimes these are copper. So let's go ahead and see. I know this one here is already steel. Yeah, so that's steel. Plus, if a magnet sticks to it, that's usually pretty much your indicator right there. See if I can find a magnet. See, this one doesn't stick, so chances are it's probably copper. See, that sounds different than that. That's kind of weird. So those 3 very well could be copper. So let's go ahead and Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. That beautiful copper color. So we've confirmed with a magnet, and we've also confirmed with a grinder, with a little bit of a file, that all these are copper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these off next. And this one, I'm going to take off this one, but I'm just going to cut off the copper ends because this is steel. It's just going to go in the shred pile or the light iron pile. Okay, so I had to remove that band, so this is kind of free now, as you can see. So what I'll do is I'll just cut this down at the very bottom. All right. More steel. Just bend that. That doesn't want to budge, so what I'll probably do is I'll just take this off with the angle grinder. Yeah, you guys really want to do yourself a huge favor and wear safety glasses. I know these aren't really safety glasses, but they are protecting my eyes. This is all I have right now, so I am going to wear them. So whenever you're using an angle grinder like this, you want to definitely protect your eyes. That is for darn sure. Okay. Oh. All right, let me take these glasses off for a minute here. This entire piece here is copper. All of it. Now that's fair hunk. All of this, copper. Copper, 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 copper. All of it. So these, that's pretty heavy. I would say that's pretty damn close to a pound as it is. Truthfully, there's a lot of copper there. Copper that I could get off of them is off of them. So now what I need to do is I just need to cut the top. I need to come down a little bit because this cap will overlap here, so I don't want to go through both of those things, like the cap and the shell. So I need to come down just a little bit. So that's what I'm going to end up doing. Let me go ahead and get this wire out of here too. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start cutting the tops off of these. We're gonna go really slow because we don't want to mess up. We don't want to cut anything. We don't want any accidents. So follow along with me, shall we? Prepare to fast forward. Okay, that's one. So let's see. So I had to cut all the way through there. Hopefully I can just kind of peel this top back and just show you what's underneath there. I might have to do a little bit more cutting, but let me see if I can get that top off. And you definitely don't want to cut too deep because obviously you'll get the copper itself. There we go. Top's off right there. Pretty heavy. That's where the copper ends on the inside. And then we've got the copper transformer on the inside. What we're going to need to do is, chances are we're going to need to cut down the center here to get this out. There's spots in there where the transformer is not as thick. It's not like right up against the wall. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's where I'm going to cut down the middle. There, yeah, you can see it right there. So that's where I'm going to cut down the middle there. Just kind of splay this open just a little bit so we can get the transformer out. So if you ever wanted to know what the inside of one of these bastards look like, that's it right there. This whole area down here would be filled with oil, and it would just go around like a pump type of thing. But that right there is a transformer chock full of copper, or at least I think it's copper. Hold on, let me confirm. Because some people teased me in the comments saying, hey, that could be aluminum. And it got me thinking, I'm like, you know, that's a possibility. It could be. And if it's aluminum, it may not even be worth it. Let's see. Let's check and see. Oh, yeah. That is definitely copper. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. First one is indeed copper, and with that first piece off, I should be able to pull this out quite nicely, see? Just comes right out, like so. And there it is. There it is right there. Yep. This here is basically steel at this point. I'll put this with the light iron pile. And then, of course, I'll take the copper out of this, and this will go in the light iron pile, too. Let's go ahead and get started on the second one. As you can see, the blade is kind of gotten low. Use most of this blade here, so I'm going to need another one. And you'll go through probably 3 or 4 of the blades, you know, which equates to maybe $3 or $4. Still definitely worth it, in my opinion. When you change these blades out, just make sure that this angle grinder is unplugged. It's amazing how they grind down. Basically the comparison right here. There you go. This one here gets thrown away. But I will keep this here just so that you know how many. Like I'll keep how many blades that it took me to do this. So you guys can be your own judge as far as whether or not it's worth it for you. So you have all factors in mind. This is taking me longer than normal because, well, I didn't have these blades to begin with. And secondly, I'm doing it very slow so that I can kind of explain myself as I go along. Let's get her done.